Florida contingent. She didn't get blown away by the hurricane.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Hanging
that's always
tight.
better. I know, she actually might... I was worried she might have needed your swimming services for a moment.
Seriously.
I was going to dispatch you.
Or use the parachute for some resisted running.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be
right.
Interesting.
That would be interesting.
I want to introduce.
We'll get you going. Guys, you have not seen this fine gentleman to the left of me. He is my good buddy Mike Olzinski. He is a Lululemon ambassador, so we're super stoked to do something with Lululemon today in terms of a giveaway. And he also works with Purple Patch, which is probably one of the best long-distance triathlon coaching services out there. And they're local in San Francisco. I know it's a mouthful, but I think they can back it up. And anyway, Mike here is one of their head coaches, and we thought it'd be really fun to bring him on to talk about finding perfect cross-training. We do a lot of mountain biking together. He goes surfing. He's really done it all. And he's also ran 50 miles, a 50-mile race up in Canada.
I guess you could call it that, sort of.
So anyway, we got a lot going on, and it'll be fun to talk about all those things and get you guys going.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the invite. I've been a long-time watcher. First time...
Long-time watcher, first-time caller.
First-time caller.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm pulling up the comments here, so if you guys are saying hi from YouTube, I'll be able to get into that in a real second. We always like to know where you're coming in from, where you're chiming in from, we always like to give a little shout out before we get started here. Let's see, pulling this up. Check out our comments here. We got Pathak Punjag, hi. Tony says, hey guys, from Hampton, Virginia, what's up? Jimmy Dean, good to see you live. Good afternoon.
It is a great afternoon. Yes, I was just thinking the same thing. It is a great afternoon.
Roadrunner Chris says, sup. What's going on, man?
There's quite a production happening here. What you guys have done is very impressive. I must say that.
Mike's gotten to see the behind the scenes of TRE HQ, and
you guys don't know what goes into this. It's
there's
a lot.
A decent amount, but it's fun. We do it for you guys. Guys, if you're just chiming in, let us know where you're coming in from. Hui says from New Orleans, what's up? Malika, hello from Michigan, how are you? Jimmy Dean says Potomac Falls, Virginia. We got a few Virginia guys out there. Hopefully it's starting to get into that crisp fall atmosphere. I'm originally from Boston, and I love New England. I have to say, in the fall, this time of year, it's so nice. You just get that nice crisp weather. California, it's still super hot.
Yeah.
Not to make you guys jealous, we're still totally getting summer.
Mm-hmm. One of the guys I work with is in Massachusetts. Leominster, I think. And he said it was 88 degrees and humid out there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I know they can get those sneaky.
They can get those Indian
sneaky,
summer, sneaky
days.
hot things. We have Newell on Facebook from Charlottesville, North Carolina. Jillian, what's up, Jillian? Hi, guys. Almost 5 a.m. here in Sydney.
Oh.
Tuning in from the future.
Happy Friday.
I know. This is a Friday morning call for Jillian, so she's stoked.
Happy
it's
Friday.
I love that. What else we got here? We say Kelly Flynn, hello from St. Louis. Anna Carvalho, hello from Boston. May or may not be at work. We won't tell anyone. Don't worry. Stella says hello from Belfast, Ireland.
Oh, cool!
Isn't that crazy?
Nice.
Ireland to Sydney. That is quite the range. Anesh from England. What's going on? Roadrunner Chris says thank you for the tips. During cross country, dropped from 24 minutes down to 17:03 in one season. Dang. That is some serious time.
That's significant.
That is significant.
That's really significant.
A little virtual high five, boom, to you. That is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Really incredible. Cross country is kind of cool. You've been doing some cross country races.
Absolutely. This is my absolute favorite time of the year.
Do you want to explain what the cross country race scene is like out here in San Francisco in the Bay Area?
It's I always call it the World Championships of running.
Yeah.
The Pacific Coast.
The
Pacific Coast World Championships. We have a really fun series run by the Pacific Association of USATF. And
USA Track and Field.
Yeah, USATF, and they go through and do. Oh man, maybe 7-8 events.
Yeah.
From starting like 2 weeks ago, and there's one next week.
And how long are the races?
Anywhere from 5K usually to the championship will be
10K.
The championship is the longest one.
And one of my favorite things, like, how much does it cost to sign up for the race?
$20.
$20
maybe.
How great is that? And this is like kind of old school pure running. You're not going to get a lot of fancy stuff. There's certainly probably not going to necessarily even be aid stations, maybe one.
No.
And it's just like you just show up and you run your face off in a park somewhere. Super cool.
You're with like I know in this community out here you're running against some world class runners.
Yeah, there's some good people.
There's people running below 31 minutes for
a 10K.
For the 10K in the championships.
Uphill in the snow.
It's
both ways. My goodness.
It's a great way to train your butt off and feel really unfit at the end of the year.
Yeah, right. Well, that's so much fun. It's such a nice mix. Tony says, today I went for an easy run. It is warm and sunny here in Virginia, but trees already started showing some changing color. I love that. We have, let's see, over on Facebook, we have Leota saying, Harriman, Utah here. It is a crisp 61 degrees.
That feels good.
Do you know where Harriman is? You spent time in St. George.
Yeah.
I have not been.
I go to the desert a lot.
The desert. Gloria says, I run half marathons to raise money for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Nice.
Good on you, Gloria. That is commendable.
That's an amazing place, amazing association.
Christina says hello. Kirk Warner, our coach
Kirk.
Brother from another mother out in Colorado is on saying, just watching. Gloria says watching from Parsons, Tennessee. Very cool. Newell says, hey, from Charlotte, North Carolina. Guys, we are about to kick this thing off officially, but this is just sort of the pre-show where we just get to say hi. I got my man Mike Ozinski. I'll talk a little bit more about him in a second, but he is hanging out with us today, which is always really fun. It's good to get him in here on his busy days when he's just coaching people all the time. Gat Game says hi. Fantastic. If you guys are just tuning in, let us know where you're coming in from. And if you guys have any questions, guys, these shows are for you. We like to give you some updates, but we really like to talk to you specifically on things you got going on. Our main focus for today is going to be on cross-training. It's getting to be that time of year where some of you guys maybe have some fall marathons, but some of you guys might be winding down a little bit. It's a good time to explore other activities. Mike and I both run a lot, but we also do a lot of other stuff a lot too, and we keep that in year-round. So I'm going to have Mike talk a little bit about, why some of the things he does, and I think we'll be able to share some really good stuff for you guys. So if you guys are unsure about cross-training, you don't really know what to do, you've heard do I do TRX or yoga or spin class or soul cycle, are they all the same things? It's well, they're not the same things, but after this you'll be able to get a good sense of how to select those activities based on what you want to accomplish. Let's see here. Edward says, hey, what's up, Edward? Hi from Alaska. Trees already in full fall colors and temps in the high 40s. Ooh. My goodness. Ben coming in from Scotland. Ben, you just had a great race, didn't you? Right on. These guys are guys from our community.
Nice.
Nikki says, watching from the Netherlands. What's going on? I love that. Isn't that so cool?
That's awesome. You guys got
it. Super, super cool.
You guys got the world covered.
We got the world covered. Let's see here. Michael Porter from Facebook says, hi, guys. I just over an Achilles tendon injury. Maybe he's saying I'm just over it. So I ran 4 this morning and feeling good. Thanks for listening. Glad to hear you're on the mend. Jamie says, Rhode Island, USA, sweating in the fall heat. No kidding.
That's it. I know they got a little heat snap.
Yeah, right. Trey Nelson says, hi guys, 76 here. Fabi de Santiago, hello from Cypress, Texas. So cool. Well, guys, it is 12:02, so we are going to officially get things started. For today, we have a very special guest and my good friend, Mr. Mike Olzinski. He is a newly minted run ambassador with Lululemon. So he may be able to talk a little bit about Lululemon and why they're such a cool apparel brand, even for guys. We think of them mostly as potentially just yoga pants
Oh, yeah.
for women, but they've got some really, really great stuff that's high quality. I've definitely worn it in the past. And then we're also going to pick Mike's brain because Mike works as a triathlon coach for Purple Patch Fitness, and they are really one of the best coaching outfits going. And so he's got a lot of great background and advice on doing other sports that help complement your running. So if you guys are interested in triathlon, he's a great resource. But the main thing we're going to talk about today for you runners out there is how to find and establish a good cross-training routine. And we want to get into the specifics of how many days should you cross-train a week? What should that cross-training look like? How does it affect the rest of your training? Even to like what happens if you're injured? You know, I want to get into that nitty-gritty stuff in this next hour. And of course, we want to handle your questions. So we're also doing, as I have a little, brain lapse right there, we're also doing a really fun Lululemon giveaway at the end. We're able to give away a $50 gift certificate, which we're super stoked about. This is compliments of the local San Francisco Lululemon flagship store on Grant Street.
Yeah, Grant, and also the Corte Madera.
And the Corte Madera store.
Holding down Marin
as well. You want to give any shout outs to any Lululemon people?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Tessa hooking it up for us at the Corte Madera store, and also
Tessa, thank you so much.
Thanks a ton.
Beautiful.
And then my girls Lydia and Jessa, Kristen Bond, they're always super instrumental in helping us out.
They're so fun, man. When we went to the San Jose Sharks game and had box seats to the game, courtesy of Lululemon. That was pretty fun.
Oh,
you guys were all right. So anyway, stick around for the end of the hour because we're going to be doing a giveaway for that. The way you enter the giveaway, guys, in that link in the description, you want to hit that Gleam link. There are a few quick, easy directions to get entries and even to get multiple entries to increase your chances for the giveaway and the $50 card. It's just going to involve like checking us out, subscribing to us, which hopefully you're already doing, and checking out Lululemon too. And if you do those things, you'll get a bunch of spots, and then we'll be able to do this drawing at the end. Sounds pretty good.
Pretty epic.
I kind of want that card.
I'm saying.
Man,
people don't realize the run gear. Like the run gear is the most unsung product in their store. I love it.
Yeah, Valerie says, yes, love the Lulu, so good. So we're starting to get some good questions trickle in. Maybe we start with Edward's question because this might be a nice way to kick things off. Mr. Edwards says, my questions about cross-training all have to do with how far you stray from the rule of specificity.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that a good one to start with?
Great one.
And I'll be interested in hearing what you guys have to say. And as Mike is collecting his thoughts, guys, this idea of specificity, it's an important one, but the idea generally is to be like, okay, if I need to be a good runner, I need to run. I need to run a lot. And the more running I do, the better I'm going to be. And we could take this to, the specific demands of your race course. If I'm running a marathon that's on pavement, well, I need to get good exposure to running my long runs on that pavement. If it's going to be in hot conditions, how can I simulate those hot conditions? There's a lot of different paths you can follow for that idea of specificity, but the more specifically prepared you are for that event, the better you are. On the surface, it seems like cross-training flies in the face of that, but it's an important other half of the coin.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just brings us to what you're asking about is called the SAID principle. And it's basically what that's an acronym for.
The SAID principle?
The SAID principle, yeah.
Oh, I love this.
Specific adaptation to imposed demands. So what this principle is saying is...
Hold on. Specific adaptation to imposed demands.
That's right. So what it's basically saying is you are going to adapt to the demands that you place on your body. So specificity in that whole system, that whole rule that he's asking about, I think is... It really is, there's a lot of science behind it saying that, yes, I mean, if you want to get better at something, if you want to progress, you have to put demands on your body that are specific to your goals.
Right.
So it's a huge concept.
Huge concept. That's very cool. I like that. So then, you just got ready. You've done a bunch of run races this year. A major goal for you was to run a 50-mile trail race up in Squamish. You did that in August.
Yep.
And you ran a lot, right? You pushed.
Yeah.
But you also kept some cross-training in there.
Mm-hmm.
What was some of the cross-training you did in getting ready for your 50-miler, knowing that event required a lot of specificity in the training?
Absolutely. That was a big one. And if we really look at, one of the most important things when you're talking about cross-training is definitely the stage of the year that you're in, right? So that can change. That can change all year long. But for me specifically, when I was in the race building phase of an ultramarathon, 50 miles, the specificity meant I had to spend a lot of time on the trails.
Yep.
And
so not doing as much road stuff,
right.
not necessarily doing as much track stuff.
Absolutely. Like I don't think I did zero track work for about 12 weeks.
Yeah.
But when I would get to those points, you have your key runs where maybe my key or like my more focused runs would be up to 3 or 4 per week, but it doesn't mean that we're just working out 4 times a week.
Right.
There's a lot of different sessions that you can do to help improve those ones. And I actually really, really believe, I highly believe in using the bike to improve and get good at, especially as trail race that is specific.
Oh, interesting.
So I do think that visually the art of seeing the trail, the
So you're talking about mountain biking.
Exactly. I am talking about mountain biking.
Sorry. So full disclosure, we have had a Friday standing mountain bike ride where we both play hooky a little early. We usually leave around 3:30.
Mm-hmm.
We go ride for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then in full disclosure, we spend equal amount of time at Gestalt House
or
afterwards.
unequal for some of us.
Unequal amount of time spent at Gestalt House after, which is this super cool place in Fairfax, California.
Mm-hmm.
I even hesitate to share because it's just a secret little gem. But it's this amazing little German brought and incredible beer house. So it's a nice way to unwind on a Friday.
For sure. And I think that's a really good point towards a cross-training session is that it needs to be fun. And it needs to be something that you enjoy doing, that you're not losing fitness, you're not completely shifting your body's specificity. And, mountain biking is great. You're putting pressure into your legs, you're putting pressure into the ankle, the knee, and the hip, which clearly you do when you're doing a run of any kind.
So you're building something there, you're getting some aerobic benefit from it, and as you said, what was interesting with the mountain biking trail running continuum is you're reading the trail, so you're having to look ahead, and that kind of technical skill translates a little bit. So what if we get a lot of runners who are like, hey, I don't really want to cross train, all I want to do is run all the time, and it's why do I have to cross train at all? For that type of person, what would you say?
I would actually say, number one, where's the variation in your runs, first of all. So we would look at what their runs look like, what's the personality of their running program. So if you're running a lot and you're running 5 or 6 times a week, do you have runs that you feel like you're really hitting a top end of that range? And on the other side, do you have runs that you feel like are really at the bottom end of that range, or are you doing a lot of work in the gray zone?
In the middle.
And generally, this is just purely anecdotal, but when I talk to a lot of people in a similar situation, their frequency of runs are all pretty much mediocre. They're in that middle zone.
So to flush that out a little bit more, if you're the person who tends to run the same route, the same distance, at the same speed all the time, you initially get a response from that, but after a while you see a plateau where you're just sort of flat.
Absolutely.
There, and that's kind of what you're talking about.
That's the word I would use too, and I think it becomes very mediocre training.
Okay.
It becomes monotonous and repetitive.
Okay.
And all those words together are the mother of flatness and staleness, and also injury. I think that's a huge thing.
Okay, so you've got an athlete who's maybe they're not doing those longer runs or those faster, shorter runs, but everything's sort of the same. And basically you're saying that cross-training for them is a good way to mix things up a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah. Introducing variation to the body.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge, huge deal.
And just naturally a little bit of balance and stability there. Valerie says, LOL, mountain biking and trail running is not for those that are accident prone. Swimming and road cycling with strength training and yoga work for me for sure. Well, Valerie, there's a funny thing about, those things, especially starting light on the mountain biking trail running side. It gives us a chance to exercise our skill set and develop that coordination and stability, and we become way less accident prone. So there's always a level of people who are, and there's always a fear of getting associated. The best way that I found to really tackle that is to jump in, and start easy, right? Start on the little green circle trail and then build your way up as you go.
Yeah.
But, the most skilled athletes are the ones who are exposed to that stuff. So I definitely love the activities that you're doing. Swimming requires a ton of balance and coordination as well, for sure. It doesn't fully translate to probably coordination on the land. But messing around a little bit there is helpful for developing those things.
Yeah. And that's where a bit of my background comes in as a multi-sport coach. So I mainly coach during my day job is triathlon, and so swimming is an integral part of that program.
Right.
It's huge.
Non-impact.
Right. Absolutely.
Improves posture, good for shoulder strength and stability.
The thing is, it's basically the anti-run.
The anti-run.
It's the anti-run. For the most part, your pressure is in the hands and the shoulders, and you're horizontal instead of vertical. Your feet are plantar flex instead of dealing with this like reverse dorsiflexion. So there's
that alone. There's just a huge benefit there.
Huge. And then I'll circle back a little bit. There does come to be that point in an athlete's year where if they are really heavily training for a specific running goal, maybe swimming isn't the perfect choice for them.
Right.
Unless you're saying, hey, this is a pure rejuvenation. Like, I'm just going to go do 30, 40 minutes where I'm just shaking out because I'm feeling sore, I'm feeling tense, I just want to go relax. And it's not as much of a session as it is a relaxation.
More of like an active recovery style day.
Perfect. I can see the point where if someone is doing really heavy swims while they're also doing heavy runs gearing up for a half or a 10K or a marathon, that it might actually throw off a bit of the adaptation for the ankle, the hip.
So this
and
is
stuff
a
like
really
that.
important point. And, Sonia chimes in. She says, hello from DC, 77 and sunny. Man, it is warm out there. Hydrating like crazy. Very interested in this topic since there's so many cross-training options here. There's Orange Theory, Soul Cycle, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of those options are cross-training, but they have a high-intensity focus to them.
Right.
So when you're in that build-up for your run and you're doing some high-intensity running, and then you're also doing high-intensity cross-training, what I'm getting from you is that the high-intensity cross-training can actually get in the way of the running itself.
Absolutely. You need to pick your battles.
Yeah.
I think you need to pick your battles based on your goals, right? So you set your goals, and maybe the goals are fitness related.
Yeah.
If it's not a race goal, if it's a pure fitness goal, like a weight loss or body composition or something, then maybe those cross-training sessions are appropriate to say, this is where I'm going to put all my chips in today. I'm going to go with intensity here. But if it is a racing goal and you're working on speed and getting good performance, then going and getting hammered in Orange Theory, it might distract from your your interval run.
Now, there is a way to integrate both of those things. In other words, like, you would just need to account for that huge, load of stress that you've just imposed on yourself doing that high-intensity class, whether it is Soul Cycle or Orange Theory or something like CrossFit or a boot camp class. And it can be a really powerful tool if you're someone who's actually dealing with maybe an injury, right? And let's say that like your running mileage is not where you want it to be, right? You're dealing with something. Let's say it's an Achilles issue. Running, jumping, bouncing is kind of bothering your calf. But if we could get you on an exercise bike, swinging a kettlebell, and doing some different squatting and other movements, not only are you getting into that ankle a little bit and maybe working on your mechanics there, but you're also keeping up that high capacity output, because that is replacing the track run you couldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that if I'm doing track runs outside or high intensity runs outside, I want to understand that Orange Theory class is like an indoor equivalent of that.
Mm-hmm.
And if I do both, then I'm like doing 2 track runs back to back, and I'm going to get cooked.
Yeah, right. You dig a ditch there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like we were saying, this if you are a runner, if you're in your postseason, if your key race is done, if your marathon is over,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it is appropriate, like in November, December, January, that you go and send it in those classes.
100%.
You know, like really improve
Send
your
it.
work capacity.
I love that. That's the
my
surfer.
term.
That's the surfer Mike there. You
Gotta
know,
send it.
and I actually love that you bring that up, because so much of us, and you guys can tell me what you're training for. Like, how many of you guys now are training for, say, a marathon or a half marathon? You can just drop down in the comments, because if you are, chances are you're doing a lot of your training at lower intensities, right? We're doing that long run, we're doing those other things where we're just kind of cruising. And that goes into Mike's earlier point about that middle medium zone where we're not covering either base, and we can get kind of flat. So putting ourselves in an environment where we're doing a lot of different movement, we're going to intensities that we're not used to, it's uncomfortable, can be a really nice overall compliment to you athletically. It may not specifically prepare you for your race, but if I do it during a time of year where I don't care about that, it's really, really beneficial.
Absolutely. I don't think enough people think of runners as athletes.
Right.
You know, I think...
we love that phrase around here.
Oh, I know you do. It's if you ask anyone that did track and field in college, or that's a elite level runner, if they're an athlete, you look at their programs, they train same as anyone that would play basketball or that would play football or hockey or gymnastics. They spend equal amounts of time in every different facet, and that's strength, and that's their recovery stuff. So
that's awesome.
I think the fact that it's, I'll give one little statement. The fact that it's just usually the most accessible, easy form of cardio throws it into this bucket like, oh, I'm a runner, not an athlete.
Right.
You know, and that always bothers me.
Yeah, and it's good to remember, and we want to embrace those things, even like the coordination thing. Like, I want to be able to jump and twist and move. So we're getting some really good questions here. We have from Pam and from Susie from Facebook. And Pam says, hey guys, TRE community member here. Just finished the half marathon program, and just so you guys know, who maybe don't, at the Run Experience, we have a membership coaching program called the Training Club, where we have different video-based run programs that you can follow, as well as getting coaching directly from us and support from team captains as well as each other. A couple of you guys obviously are already on that, and you're listening in here. But just so you guys, if you don't know what that is, that's what we're referring to. She says, I just finished the half marathon program and I have my first marathon end of April. What should I do before the marathon plan itself? So you're kind of in between, if we're looking for like that, 4 month to 5 month buildup, we got a little time.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to Miss Pam?
Everything but run.
Everything but
everything,
run.
You can have everything you do at this point, especially because that's kind of a quick turnaround. You finish a good program and you got a big program coming up. So you got your body, your brain, and your emotions
give it a little break
chance to just completely unwind.
Yeah, give it a little break now, because you're going to build up again. And notice that might be different advice from maybe someone who's never run a marathon or half before, right? And they're just building up for the first time. Like, maybe with them, it's like, well, if they're really new to running, like, maybe you would want them to start a little bit and build up some training to even handle the marathon.
Absolutely.
But if she's already coming off a half, like, Pam, you're fit, you've got good fitness, this is a chance to get that mental break, because when we start hitting it hard in February and March, you're gonna want that.
100%. And it's almost emotional and mental more than it is physical sometimes. But I'll even go back to, like, I saw Aaron Malo comment.
Yeah. It's got to be fun.
It's got to be fun, and it doesn't mean that we would ever tell you, hey, you're doing a marathon in April, I don't want you running in November. Like, we would never tell you that. But your runs should be free of structure. They should be enjoyable. Like, this is your time to go really embrace running and go hit a trail.
Running without a watch, running the
no
trails,
watch.
running with some different friends, not feeling guilty. I mean, how many of us feel guilty when, we miss that workout on our training program? Letting yourself go off that program so you don't feel that way, and exploring some of these other classes out there.
Absolutely.
That's really good. So, so Susie asked a question, and this is somewhat different. She says, hey, what do you recommend from a cross-training schedule activity-wise in the off-season when not race training, just running for fitness and fun? And before we get to that, Pam, one more thing. We have our 8-week running strength program, which is a great barbell, kettlebell, box jump type of thing. And, within the training club, this would be a great time to focus on that. It's 2 workouts a week for 8 weeks, so it's not overly structured and insane. You'll get a lot from those workouts, and that will just be a nice way to kind of build up your strength for next go.
And on that note, I've actually seen that as well. And it's in the off season when you're getting ready to train, you might even take those 2 workouts and break those. You do those 2 full days.
Yeah.
And you might just pull a few of those exercises and put those into another session.
So you get like 3 sessions in.
Exactly, even 4, up to 4. I mean, depends on your schedule and your capacity to handle it. But like, those are all very important movements. And if you're not, if you're not coming from a strength conditioning background where you've done those for 10 years, we could all use that extra, a little bit, even if it's quick 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Give ourselves a little extra TLC.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely
I think that's
like that.
really appropriate.
That's so cool. Well, we're getting a bunch of questions here back on YouTube, so I'm going to switch up over there. Let's see here. We got Edward just saying again, finishing up training for Ventura Marathon on October 25th. So we're in that last month. That's always exciting. Lots of race pep and tempo work, including quality miles integrated into long run. Edward, a good cross-training thing like getting on the bike might be good for you if you're just on the edge training-wise. And I know you do this every once in a while, where even building up your 50-miler, you were supposed to run on a Friday. Your Achilles was maybe a little not bad, but it could use a day.
For sure.
And you would get on the bike instead.
Oh, absolutely.
So you would get a session in that day. And so that way when you got to, say, maybe your long run over the weekend, you felt a little bit better. So you could use cross-training as a way to substitute some of your runs, especially if you're riding that edge, which, guys, is really common. Like, let's be honest. Like, I don't know too many people who don't feel a little beat up in the final 6 to 8 weeks of the race.
Always, totally.
And if you're not, like you could you're either an incredibly blessed individual or, you're not training hard enough. I don't know.
Hey, I mean, and I'll say this too, getting ready for a marathon, what better way to go and practice your strategy for racing?
Yeah.
If whether you're going to try and break 3 hours or it's your first, I mean, you're just not going to go and always do 3-hour runs or 4-hour runs, but you can go do 3-hour bikes and practice. And it doesn't have to be high stress. And if you do have a bike that even if it's not like super set up, crazy TT bike, just getting out there and practicing your hydration, getting water in your system every 15 minutes, taking in those little calories, it sets you up for understanding how to handle 3+ hours of work,
Totally. And we live out in California where we're lucky enough to be able to bike year-round. So if you don't have a bike or in an area that it's not quite as amenable, that's where, some of the spin classes can come in handy, and they force hydration if an issue just because the rooms are warm.
Yeah.
And you got to deal with that. And
sweating.
That's always really good. Let's see here. Nikki says, I finished a half marathon last weekend and will start training for my first 15K soon. Really need to get some cross training in to relieve my joints. I run with medical oxygen, so lungs need work. Interesting. We had an earlier question about strength training as well. Mike McDonald said, I'd love to hear more about strength training, not using weights, to help prevent injuries, especially the IT band. So a lot of our programs, you can do a lot with just your body. The 4 major movements I think we should all master, and I believe in them so much that we actually have created a free program that you can download and use. are the squat, the push-up, the lunge, and the burpee. And if I can get those 4 movements, I'm getting some good whole body, a good mix of range of motion, strength, hamstrings, glutes, some single leg stuff. And if I can master those movements, I can spread beyond. So I bring that up because a lot of times when we talk about cross training, we do say strength. It's not just about aerobic running substitutes. It's about doing some work that increases our balance and stability and our range of motion to really prevent injuries. And perhaps we can talk about that a little bit. But, what do you like for treating the IT band, especially with strength?
Yeah. IT band is just total crap.
Do you ever deal with issues with that?
I've been blessed enough to never have an IT band issues. Mine have usually been lower leg, Achilles.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm usually a little like foot and heel on my left foot. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I do roll my quads. Definitely get crispy on those outer quads and ITs, but I'm the same. I feel fortunate there.
I do have a theory. Why we haven't actually had an IT band issue. If I go back even my early trainer days, I wrote an article once about why I thought Usain Bolt had some of the best balance of all runners, and what his skill level gave him over some of his competition.
Oh, interesting.
And it's
what
actually
was he doing?
Balance training, balance work, and like the fact that he's got 39 steps to cover 100 meters. Like, if any displacement was happening in any of those steps, he's losing speed, losing time, losing momentum, and also putting his knees and IT band at risk. So my understanding on the IT band is that it starts to take more stress and more pressure when the glutes and the hip flexors are not doing their job quite as much.
Right.
So our pelvis kind of does this thing instead of just facing
straight
forwards. So I think my theory on why someone with a strength conditioning background like you or myself is that we've done these balance exercises for so long without even realizing it, like a step up, like a lunge, or just a regular single leg deadlift.
Where you're forcing yourself to learn how to stabilize those hips
100%.
A little bit more and to get the muscles that are in charge of stabilizing the hips really firing.
Absolutely, 100%. And I think the number one savior of IT bands is having picture perfect balance. And I think it's something that just gets overlooked all the time. It's really the second biomotor skill that we should be training, but most people jump.
How would one start, right? So if we're like, for some of these guys on here, they're like, okay, that sounds cool. I like the idea of stable hips. I like the idea of trying to find some balance. Like, what would be a good place to them to start to maybe improve their balance, even just like from home, or something they could like stop on their run and do? Like, do you have any things that come to mind?
Absolutely, just like warm-up drills.
Okay.
If you have a set of designated warm-up drills that somehow integrate balance, then and you do that every single run, you're doing it 3 to 5 times a week. So
you could integrate some balance into the warm-up itself. Like, what would be a specific drill? Like, let's get into it.
My favorite is just the basic marching high knee. So I don't know if I can even do it here if you can see it, but like just the regular high knee drill where you're kind of pulling the knee up to your chest.
So you
just balance and hold it for 5 seconds.
So basically, you take a step, balance on the left foot, put your right knee up. So you're just standing like a stork for a couple seconds, and then you switch and do the other side.
Yeah.
That, even as subtle as that is, starts to get that ankle working and those hips firing.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
Simple. And it takes you 2 minutes, no excuse to never do it. And every single Thursday I coach a track session over here, and every single Thursday I have them do marching high knees with little bit of balance.
So that's a nice one, and that's a nice way to open up your hips too. So marching high knees, go ahead and check that out. Guys, we have some different single leg balance and strengthening exercises as well. I think if you wanted to progress from there, we are huge fans of like the standing leg swing. So that's just adding a little bit more dynamic movement into that, where you're posting up in the left on one leg and you're letting the other leg swing, and your hip and ankle is having to fire up a lot. Mike mentioned lunges before. There's a bunch of different things. And then a fun one to do is just to balance on one leg and then try to change where you look, your proprioception, and you could look up, You can look up and close your
Uh-huh.
eyes. Am I going to make it? And you can see
Yeah.
it start to move around a little bit.
Totally.
So those are great things to do even at home.
That was the exercise I found that Bolt used to do preparing for like the 2012 Olympics. Is he actually had a medicine ball, so similar to that, he would just
Yep.
straight up standing still, medicine ball, and then moving the
around.
medicine ball on different sides.
Spencer Lynn has got a good one, single leg jump roping.
Oh yeah,
That's a great one. To
I've
build
seen
a little
Nate's
calf and
giving
foot
people
strength.
Nate's giving people single leg burpees.
Oh man,
on
that's
this.
a favorite. Single leg burpees.
And you see people going all over the map of that one.
Oh man. Back to some comments. Mike says, "Hey, feeling the pain just now." I think he's talking about the IT band earlier. Just completed my first ultra. Good
Nice.
on you. And you're probably right. I'm totally uncoordinated and hold back going downhill. The downhill running is another conversation, but that strength and coordination is so big in terms of developing that confidence to do it. So good.
That's actually probably if you had levels of skills in running,
yeah.
that would be the final level.
That might
Is
be
running
one.
down
Bombing
with
downhill
speed.
at speed on
be the
technical
final.
stuff is probably the fun one. It's one of the hardest things to do. I
It's,
definitely agree.
I think it's the most advanced skill that a runner gets.
Yeah.
But you can't have it without all those skills leading up to
Without
it.
all those other things. Tiana says she just wanted a little repeat. She kind of missed part of that. She says march of the high knees, march of, say it one more time, I missed it.
High knee marching.
Yeah,
So not going like fast, rapid high knees like you might normally do, but
Yeah.
hold it for a second.
Yeah, and the way to describe it would just be like you're going to step, you're going to pull a knee up to your chest, and as you pull your knee up to your chest, you're balancing on that other foot. Then you're going to step and pull the other knee up to your chest. So you're using your hands to pull that up a little bit, and you're just getting a little bit of balance there. So it's a nice way to integrate that. Let's see here. You guys have some good questions. Guys, it's already, time is flying by.
Damn.
If you guys are just tuning in, I got my man, triathlon coach, strength coach, mountain biking and surf buddy extraordinaire, Mr. Mike Olzinski. He is a Lululemon Run ambassador, and in honor, he is able to graciously hook us up with a $50 Lululemon gift certificate giveaway. We're going to do that giveaway at the end of the hour, so please stick around. To get entries in, you want to make sure you go to this Gleam link in our description. You click that. There's a few simple directions of ways to get entries. There's ways to get multiple entries to increase your chances. So definitely check that out. We're talking cross-training today, different ways to do it, how to solve problems if you're injured, how to maybe even get more training if you're limited with your running, what happens if you're, off season and you're not racing anymore, how do you start to use cross-training to build up for next year. We're taking all the questions that you guys have. Sharon, the giveaway is going to be in about 25 minutes. So hang tight. We're almost there.
You gotta put in your work for it.
You got to put in the work. So keep coming with those questions. I'm going to keep going here. Valerie says, I think these are some of her favorite movements. Pigeon pose, standing pigeon on the end of your bed, roll out on a PVC pipe. Ooh,
Yeah.
that is gnarly. Strengthen the
Fun.
glutes and hips. Learn to use hips and glutes, hammies more for running versus the quads.
Yeah.
Such a big one, right? We end up becoming quad dominant a lot of times, which basically means that our hamstrings and glutes aren't engaging at all, and it's all the quads. And for those of you guys who deal with knee pain and IT band pain, that's a huge component.
Huge. I would call it front quadrant running. So you're running primarily in the front of your body with like your knees and quads versus like back seat running or back quadrant, which is hips, posterior chain.
Working with our rear-wheel drive.
Yeah.
We want to be four-wheel drive, guys. We
Four
want to
wheel,
get all
all
those
the way.
things going all the time. So
Rear
good.
wheel.
Jennifer says, hello from Ohio. What's going on? Mary says, training for the Chevron Marathon. That's pretty cool.
Ooh, that's in Houston, right?
Michael was asking earlier, he says, hi guys, I just maybe got over an Achilles tendon injury, so I ran 4 this morning and feeling good. Thanks for listening. Anyways, I can get to 100% sooner. Is cross-training good for my Achilles?
Oh, welcome to my life. Well, every time I get something flaring up, it's usually from down there. And this is why, first of all, you got to know yourself. And you got to know, like, whereabouts you start to feel these things.
Yeah.
Like, have athletic awareness so it's not something that should surprise you. You know?
Right.
In my opinion, it's not something that comes out of nowhere. it's I think you've described it like this a lot. Like it doesn't just. What's your link?
Unless you get hit by a taxi cab, those movies don't come out of nowhere.
Exactly, they don't. And so usually you change something. Something is different. Maybe you lose a little bit of your strength and conditioning work. Maybe you up the mileage. Maybe you up the intensity. Maybe you're changing the surface in your running. So first of all, you got to be ahead of it when you're thinking about those things.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I know myself. I know that when I get over like 50 miles or something, this is me, I'm going to have to deal with something.
Yeah.
So
we all have our upper limits.
Absolutely. And so for that reason, I always make sure that I have that bike ride in there. And it's generally been 2 rides a week. But if I know I'm starting to feel a little bit, I'll actually cut a run and put a bike ride in place of it. I just think it's so tremendous because, again, you're doing the anti-run a little bit on your Achilles.
Yeah.
So when you're running, your Achilles is just getting pressed. It's getting compressed. It's the plantar fascia is getting gnarly and hard, and it's getting a lot of tension. And your Achilles is working to plant your ankle. But when you cycle, and first of all, when you cycle, you do that as well. But you can also work in the opposite direction. So you're
100%.
dorsiflexing. You're using the muscles on the opposite side of your shin. So like the anterior tibs, the peroneal muscles that actually counter the calf and the gastroc and the soleus. So if you can actually add strength to those muscles,
basically your shins, and develop those muscles, that can help complement and balance things out a lot.
100%.
So guys, this goes back to that the cost of specificity, right? There's really a cost of everything. I like to always look at things from a risk-reward standpoint. Now, we want to pursue, to a certain degree, high-risk situations. We like high-risk situations because there's a high reward on the other side, right? We get the benefit of training for that first half marathon or marathon. Hey, just by doing that, that's putting me in a riskier environment for something to happen versus staying at home and doing nothing. So what we need to do is mitigate that risk by doing some of these things that's Mike's talking about. I think, especially with Achilles and some tendons, one of the most dangerous things that can happen, guys, is that you get comfortable with those low levels of pain, so much so that it becomes normal. And how many of you guys have run, you start feeling stiff, and you're like, nah, it just kind of goes away after 5 minutes and I'm fine. And then maybe the next run, it's 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And then the week later, it's 6 minutes. And then a couple weeks later, it's like 10 minutes. But it still goes away. And because you've kept running, it's sort of reinforced to you that maybe it just does that weird thing and you're fine. But pretty soon, it's going to catch up with you in a way where you're like, my Achilles is smoked, it's angry, and I don't know what to do, and I'm a couple weeks before a race, and help.
Yeah.
Right? So intervening in those early times, learning to read, and when Mike says you need to know yourself, learning to read those early signals is so big. For me, this is where I'm a preemptive foam roller. If I'm injured and I'm dealing with an issue, I will be probably trying to target that body part every day with some sort of soft tissue work or stretching. But if I'm healthy, I'm still trying to hit everything each week. Maybe not as often, but I try to hit at least my quads 2 times a week or 3 times a week, my hamstrings 2 or 3 times a week, my calves. And that gives me a good baseline so that when I do change my training and all of a sudden I roll my calves and you're like, man, these are really crispy, really tight. Not only can I work that out, but it also says oh, okay, I did just step up in training. Okay, my calves are really tight. I'm supposed to have this run tomorrow. You guys can just start to make much more informed decisions. Let me see here.
And don't be so stubborn. Runners are stubborn.
That's a good thing.
I have this on my program. I have to do it, even if it's gonna, I have to wake up early and just my Achilles is crushed and I get out of bed and it hurts when I touch the ground. Don't actually, I think sometimes it's more courageous to take a session you were supposed to do, put it on the back burner, get yourself healthy, and hit it later. That's actually the harder thing for a lot of runners versus, I'm just tough, I'm going to go do it. Don't be afraid to take the back seat if you need it,
Your boss over at Purple Patch talks about the courage to recover.
Yep, and that's been my coaching for the last 6 years. And at certain levels, everyone's tough, right? Everyone's going to go get that workout in. but the ones who are really confident will sit on the couch for a day when they really need to, because they believe in the program, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I really like that. Let's see here. We're getting a lot of great stuff here. You guys are asking such great questions. Guys, it is 12:42. In less than 20 minutes, we are doing that super awesome Lululemon giveaway, courtesy of Mike here, so we're super stoked about that. Jennifer asked, and this is a great question. Hi from Ohio. Thighs hurt after a marathon. How can I fix this?
Don't do a marathon. How about that?
Yeah, right. You know, the thighs, we're probably talking about the quads. What would you, if your quads are feeling a little crispy after a race, what would you do?
I would start out just like that, with getting preemptive and getting on the foam roller for sure. You know, you got 4 little muscles going across your knee. And in that case, that's when I think swimming actually really works.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a great swimmer, you don't have to be friggin'
just
Michael
flopping
Phelps.
around in the pool. Get the water wings out, you know, get the snorkel.
Yeah. The snorkel is great. We use our professionals use the snorkel every single session.
I feel like they use a different type of snorkel than the one I'm talking about.
That could be.
I'm
Not
about
like the big like
fish
nose
one, exactly.
But like the thing is, I think that you know, your hip flexors are taxed, your quads are taxed. What better way to get length than to just simply go and kick the feet, even if you're just grabbing the kickboard and just doing that kind of thing. There's minimal pressure. You're really lengthening those muscles.
And there's something about movement and blood flow that helps facilitate recovery.
Yeah, he's so smart.
Yeah, it
Absolutely.
really helps get that going. So I love that.
Flush out the tissue, you know, get the blood going enough that it flushes it out, but not enough that it's like...
So a little quad smashing, a little swimming, a little maybe couch stretching if you know that one. And we got some good videos. If you look up on our channel and you just Google knee pain or mobility, and we've got a lot of great stuff specifically for the quads to really get in there. Julie asks, a program plan for strength training. Julie, you definitely need to check out what we got going on. We've got some really, really great stuff on the training club, including our running strength program that tells you exactly what you need to do. It is pretty awesome. So we would love to have you in there to go ahead and do that. You can usually find a link in our program down below in the description, and you can even try it free for a week by clicking that link down there. So we're super stoked there. We got you covered. Let's see here. Aisha says, I haven't been able to run for over a year, non-running medical stuff, so I feel like I'm a beginner again. I definitely can relate to that. After taking a layoff of running myself and getting back in these last 2 years. So I'm a beginner again, even after 30 plus years of running. Any advice on getting back into it after such a long break? I'm only 2 weeks back into running.
That's a great one. That's a great concept. It's really interesting too, because with 30 years of experience, you think it feels to you like you're starting at square one, which that's a real feeling, and it's true. But you got to realize, like, your body has gone through that adaptation period number of times. All right, number of times. So maybe the what you're feeling is just, you know, nerves are not connected, the heart's not 100% into it yet. But your engine is there, the connections are there. You just got to reopen them a little bit and be patient. I think with that.
So it's like riding a bike again. Your body's going to remember.
Is. Yeah. People always like, oh, I'm going to start from zero. I got to start from square one. Well, no, you've got 30 years of experience that you can bank on. You know, those are deposits you've put in. They're not going to disappear. But on that note, the winner of this type of program is short but frequent runs. I think short and frequent.
What would short be?
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. But 5 times a week.
So letting yourself initially just run maybe 20 minutes, 4 to 5 times a week, and then building up from there is a nice way to get that regularity without trying to go out for some 90-minute run, because you used to be able to knock those out in your sleep and then be hobbling around for a little while.
Absolutely. And not be afraid of walk breaks. Reset the form. In Purple Patch we're huge on long runs involving some walk breaks. So maybe it means to go hit a trail, and when you get to a really big hill, power hike it, and just if you do 5 runs a week, maybe 2 are a bit longer, but some of them are 15, 20 minutes. And then over 6 weeks, over 8 weeks, you can gradually let those key runs, the two bigger ones, they can start to expand a bit, and maybe you're supporting or the short runs grow just a little bit.
You can start to build up from there. The one thing I would also say is, if you've taken a long break, not just from running, but athletically overall, where you really haven't done much, it's a good time to tap in with some general strength training. And it could be some bodyweight stuff, it could be boot camp, you could be in one of our programs. But that just builds up that general athletic base and foundation that will then handle the running. And good news is when you're running only 20 minutes a day, it's very easy to partner that up with, say, a 20-minute strength session. So you give yourself a nice 40-minute session right there.
I think that's an important point to capture is actually doing a strength session before a short run is probably ideal because you're stimulating all these muscles. You're getting the glutes to work. You're getting the stability in the spine. And then your 15-minute run after strength is in the best form that you can get.
Because you've just gotten this really, really good warm-up and everything else.
Yeah, and that counts. That counts.
That's awesome. So, guys, we're about 10 minutes away from our Lululemon giveaway, $50 gift certificate. All you need to do to enter is hit this Gleam link. It's the first link down in the description. There's a few ways to enter. You could choose one. You could do multiple actions and get even more than one entry. It's a good chance to increase your odds of winning. So we're going to do that giveaway in about 10 minutes. So if you haven't entered yet, definitely go in and enter. We want to hook you up with that $50 Lululemon gift certificate and get you into some pretty nice swag stuff. It's not just about yoga pants for the ladies, although they do a very fine job there. They've got some great stuff for guys, and I wear a pair of Lululemon shorts. I've had them for years, and what's amazing in that is that the quality is such is that I've been able to run in the same pair of running shorts for years, and it hasn't broken down no matter how many times I've gone through the laundry or anything else. So a few more questions, guys, before we take things all the way to the close. Jimmy Dean asks, how do you use the glutes more? And this goes back to, I think, our earlier thing talking about quad dominance, and maybe this circles back to what we're talking about with strength.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's first of all, you have to have the range of motion in the anterior hip, so following Nate's leg swings and the mobility aspect of if you're too tight in the hip flexors and the quads, it can inhibit your glute function, so you got to have that range of motion through the hip. That's number one, have the mobility. And then number two, glutes basically balance us.
Yeah.
So having, again, the glutes, when you're standing on one leg, the glutes prevent your pelvis from dipping to one side. So a good way to use your glutes more is to A, mobilize, give yourself the freedom to use it, and then B, balance and then do those strength exercises, squats, deadlifts with one leg.
Yeah.
And just,
So you're really sounding some regular work is really important. To start using them, guys, we need to simply say we just need to use them, right? If we're not using them, they're not going to be used. And doing certain exercises where it's not a choice, it's a forced conversation. They're going to be engaged.
Right.
Like when you squat, when you do something else, it's going to be fired up. That's a nice way to do this. And there's a little what's the word I'm trying to think of? There's a neuromuscular component to this where our brain has to learn how to refire and engage these movements. So even doing some single leg bridges, some side steps is a nice, more subtle way to get your brain connected with that area of your body. But then you can really load it up with some bigger picture movements like squats, like deadlifts, like lunges. And that's a nice way to do it. You can also do some running drills that really get the hamstrings fired. And some of my favorite ones are just pulling drills off the ground where I'm actively picking my hips, my feet up off the ground. It really forces my hips into a better position, my posture's better, and I'm really getting those hamstrings going. So incorporating that stuff into your warm-up is a great way to go. And guys, remember, if you spend any amount of time sitting, you're in that closed hip position. And that is exactly what Mike was talking about, where if your hips, the front of your hips are really tight because you've been sitting, you're going to have some sleepy glutes, right? Because
glute amnesia.
Shut off. Glute amnesia.
Glute amnesia. They don't forget how to work because we're just in this position so much. So you gotta mobilize.
I love that. Brian says, "LOL, is that a train or a treadmill in the background?" Great content, thank you.
Maybe a treadmill.
This is a beautiful shelf system / stage, including our very wonderful sign. I'm very proud of this. You can go ahead and check this guy out. Established 2014, kind of cool, right?
That's official.
So that's our little setup right here. We lost 1 or 2 plants. We're figuring out what plants stay alive inside, so we're going to see some more plants in there. But that's what that is, Brian. Mike says, I've been reading about using gelatin with vitamin C and then skipping for 6 minutes for promoting ligament and tendon repair. Have you any experience with that? That's interesting.
No, I have no experience with that. I'm going to be honest with that answer there.
I haven't either. I feel like these are slightly 2 separate things.
Yeah.
I'm not super familiar with the gelatin vitamin C. That might be above my pay grade. As far as skipping, the idea of active movement and strength and blood flow towards those tendons, especially like Achilles tendons, it's really hard to heal because it just doesn't get a lot of blood. Mm-hmm. So anything that helps bring blood flow to the area and a little bit of strength around that area is great. So skipping is a great way to strengthen the feet for sure.
Really, skipping is probably one of the best drills you can do regularly.
Totally.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Shannon chimes in. She says, I noticed that hiking really helps my running for sure. Especially if you're a trail runner, you may find as you're hiking anyway. But especially those steep things are so nice. Less impact, great time on feet, enjoyable.
I was using hiking a lot for cross training in training for a 50-miler because, let's be honest, unless you're at the pointy end of the world, you're going to be hiking if you're doing an ultra marathon.
Yeah.
It's just
totally.
It's just the way it is.
That's just the way it is. Erica says, hey, I just started running more, but my heels hurt with each step. Anything I can do while I'm running, the pain goes away and then comes back in the morning.
Yeah, that actually starts to get into plantar fascia. And generally what I see is like the heel cup and underneath the foot. The plantar fascia really starts at your big toe and then just it covers the entire base of your foot. And then it turns into the Achilles tendon. Yeah. So I think one thing I love to do is just lacrosse ball rolling out the bottom of your feet. Like really, just like in Platoon, you take care of your feet. Or was that Forrest Gump? I forget. But you got to take care of your feet. And so roll them out, lacrosse ball, golf ball, before runs, after runs, when you're sitting down at home. So do anything. And again, that comes back to glute use. If you're using your hips properly, you're taking pressure away from the Achilles and the calf. Yeah. So do the strength and be preemptive. Roll out the bottom of your foot. I think that's
Erica,
really
right now this is a great time to try to catch this and nip this in the bud. The fact that you're starting to feel some of that stiffness in the morning is just pretty classic symptoms of exactly what Mike just said. Keep in mind, neither of us are doctors. We don't play them on the internet, so we can't 100% diagnose you there. But if we were looking at you and suggesting some at-home remedies, we would strongly suggest that you start working on the mobility and range of motion of your feet and your calves. And you may find that, hey, even if you don't have pain there, it feels pretty darn good. You're going to get a little extra spring in those feet. So get on that and hit that every single day. Dial back your running for a little bit in the short term. And this is where some of those other cross-training pieces could come in and play a role as a way of, if you're worried about not getting your workout in, you're like, man, everyone else is playing outside, I'm stuck at home at recess, get into another little activity, and that will help your feet heal and then keep you exercising and moving. Guys, 4 minutes till we do the giveaway. Let's see how many entries we got. If you haven't entered yet, get in there. Wow. We have officially about 3 minutes left for this thing to go before we pull a winner. $50 gift certificate to Lululemon. Good for yourself. Good for a buddy of yours.
I still have, I get made fun of all the time because...
We got a little Lululemon shirt on right here,
everything,
right?
Always. Hat.
The hat's Lululemon?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is cool.
See,
give
guys,
these guys a little tour.
Guys don't even realize, they got really awesome guy stuff. But I get made fun of a lot because I wear the same exact shorts that I've worn for 6 years. Like, Mike, why don't you try a different pair of shorts? I'm like, nope, I like these shorts.
I like these shorts. Anyway, you can get Mike's signed autographed shorts. It's part of the giveaway. No, I'm kidding.
You might want a hazmat suit, but, they
I know,
will.
right? Mike goes back to his thing earlier, supposedly 50% increase in collagen and tendons. Yeah, Mike, super interesting stuff. I would want to consult our resident, nutritionists that really play with that interplay of stuff. But I would love to learn more. So if you have any articles or anything you want to send over our way, would love to learn about it. Let's see here. Aaron says, oh yeah, Brian, it's one of the trolley cars in San Francisco. Trying to run outside. Yeah, we definitely have a train station outside. I guess what you're saying, Brian. It's a little noisy out here.
Maybe one day there'll be a treadmill in here. Maybe we'll have a treadmill in here one of these days soon.
Totally. Valerie says only lacrosse ball, not tennis. Nothing else works like a lax ball.
Nope.
Yes, the noise, but the plants are awesome too. Oh man, you guys are funny. I'm late to the conversation. I'm just catching up here.
If you like a lacrosse ball, try a golf ball on the bottom of your feet. That is gnarly.
Totally.
And I sometimes put them in the freezer, freeze a golf ball, roll that out on the bottom of your foot. It's heavenly.
Yeah, so you get a little ice relief there too. Last little thing, Penkel asks, hey, I want to work on my 5K PR, but I have only 50 minutes per day to spend. Is it doable?
100%.
100%.
That's absolutely, it's doable.
Yeah, making sure with the less time you have, you just want to make sure that time is quality. Going back to what we started in the beginning, if every run is the same distance and the same speed, I'm going to benefit from that a little bit, but after a while I'm going to plateau. So when you get interested in 5K work, we need some variability in the types of runs you're doing, everything from doing, intervals, to work on the track, to work on the hills, to increasing your run efficiency, to doing some strength training and everything else. There's a lot to be done, and it's a great opportunity to actually get on a strength program and a training program overall. I'd be remiss if we didn't mention ours. There's a link down there if you want to go ahead and check it out, even for a free week. You can go ahead and get on with our training club. The 30-day challenge would be a perfect place for you to start, and most of our workouts are basically 50 minutes or less. So
I would even, you know what, the one I'm doing, so I'm stealing one of Nate's programs, I'm going to be practicing it, and I think it's the Run Your Best Mile one. So, and this would actually be a great situation to use that, even though you want to train your 5K, using the mile workouts would be an efficient way to have one a week, where one of them was like learning your 400s and doing intervals of 400 on a 90-second recovery, and then knocking it down a little bit to
slightly shorter recovery.
Yeah. So I'm going to be doing that one.
Totally.
And I expect if I do that, those main sets might be, 15 minutes, 20 minutes of actual work that allows you 20 minutes to warm up. So that's a 40-minute workout. And I expect if I actually nailed all those for the next 8 weeks or 10 weeks, that my 5K would be better.
Totally improved.
I would guarantee that.
And we even have 5K specific videos on our channel. We have one on how to run a sub 20 minute and how to run a sub 30 minute 5K. So if you guys are interested in that, we kind of break down some good progressions for you to follow as well, and you can just search that on our 5K. Guys, it is the end of the hour. You've been waiting patiently. Let's do this giveaway.
How to run a sub 15 minute 5K is coming up.
How to run a sub 15 is coming up.
Mike's gonna do that one for us.
I know. I think Mike's gonna be.
I'm not doing
that one.
You're gonna have a failing program.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and draw our winners. We're going ahead and do it right now. Drawing.
Drum roll.
Drum roll, please. Mike, do you want to do the honors of announcing?
Woo!
So we have
Fabi de Santiago.
There we
Fabi
go.
de Santiago in Cypress, Texas. Winner chicken dinner.
Of the Lululemon.
I like that.
Gift certificate. So hey, congratulations on that $50 gift certificate. We will email you and we'll get you connected with Lululemon. They may ask your shipping address so we can get that out there. So guys, thank you so much for listening. Mike, thank you so much for being on.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Good.
Good stuff.
Guys, if any of you are interested in triathlon, definitely check out Mike Olzinski and Purple Patch Fitness. It's a really incredible training resource. We really, really like them. And so they're so great. Guys, next week we will have, I know some of you guys were asking nutrition questions, we will have a new special guest nutritionist on, Kyla Chanel. She's going to be on next
Well,
week.
and just FYI,
Another hookup from
she's
Mike.
also our nutritionist with Purple Patch Fitness, and she's done a tremendous job with a lot of our athletes, and that's awesome. She's really smart, great experience, and so I really hope you guys tune in with her.
Awesome. Well, we're
Awesome.
super stoked. So anyway, guys, thanks so much. We are starting the super fun, awkward sign-out part now as we go through here, and we start to turn everything off. Guys, see you later. Boom.
Cheers.